What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Underestimated Podcast. It's your host, Jeremy, right back with another episode. So, today, what we're going to be doing is, anybody who knows me knows that I am a diehard Golden State Warriors fan. I've been a Warriors fan for 10, 11 years now. And, still somewhat of a sensitive topic to me, but life goes on, and now we got to reevaluate and do what we got to do for next season, because it's the offseason now. Recently, as you probably know by now, we just got put out of the playoffs by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. Yeah, they put us out in 5. Obviously, it's easy to make the excuse that Steph Curry being injured with his hamstring strain is the pinnacle reason for us losing. While I would love to make that excuse, I can't necessarily sit here and make that excuse when you have somebody like Jimmy Butler who has taken teams with less talented personnel to the NBA Finals on multiple occasions. You could have definitely have gotten us one game to at least give Steph Curry a chance to come back, play his heart out, and then we just find ourselves in a dogfight for Game 7. But obviously that didn't happen. I don't think he was aggressive enough in that series. But then again, you also have to take into account that Jimmy Butler was someone who was also recovering from an injury with his pelvic contusion. And so I don't really know, because Jimmy Butler's a warrior, no pun intended, but he's a warrior. Like, he's a dog, he's a fighter, and it's going to be very, very hard, even with the injury, to keep him off the floor. So I'm not exactly sure like what percentage of health he was in during that series. But I mean, in terms of Jimmy Butler, if you're at least 80% healthy, I think that can get you one game. And then you, at that point, would become a complementary piece after that. But I mean, it's not just him. Steph does need more help. I honestly thought that the roster of personnel, and I mean, obviously this could be biased, but I thought that team had enough to win a championship this year. The only team that literally scared me this year was the OKC Thunder, and I even thought that we could put them out. I thought our age and experience was going to be able to propel us over them, but obviously we will never know because we didn't make it to them because Minnesota put us out. But I mean, Ant is a dog. I love Ant. Ant is one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA, and I wish him nothing but the best. I'm taking the high road on that, and hoping. I don't know. I think them and OKC is going to be a really good series. I can see that going to 7. I hope so. In terms of Philly and New York, I would prefer the Pacers win. Because I'm a big Tyler Burton fan, and I don't really care for anyone on the Knicks. To be honest, I haven't really cared for the Knicks since Melo was there, so it's been a while. But no, back to the Warriors. I have their depth chart to the right of me, and I don't know, that the 10-man rotation that we've kind of toyed around. I mean, Steve Kerr will play that entire team, but you got Steph, Brandon Pajemski, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Draymond. So that's 5. You got Moody, 6. Gary Payton II, 7. Kuminga, 8. Looney, 9. And then you could say that 10th man could be anyone from Trace Jackson Davis to Guy Santos or Quentin Post. I think people haven't really realized that Quentin Post is 7 feet. They're saying that, we need more size, we need a center, Draymond shouldn't be playing center. We got to get over the small ball. I mean, that's just Golden State. Our identity is strength in numbers and playing small ball. That's just what we're known for. I don't really see us going against it. Let's uncover some of the rumors that I've been seeing about players and how I feel about certain players coming over here. Giannis, I mean, yeah, it's Giannis, right? Like, anybody in their right mind would be crazy to say that they don't want Giannis Antetokounmpo on their team. So if it happens, I mean, to be honest, as long as Draymond isn't giving up in that deal, obviously, like, not Jimmy or Buddy, not even Looney. If Kuminga's involved in that deal and Paz is in that deal, I'll live with it. But like, I mean, I really think Giannis should just stay put. I think what people what people aren't realizing in this is the fact that we're talking about Giannis wanting to move on from Milwaukee, but we're not realizing that leaves Dame all by himself again in another place. And so I don't really think people are considering Dame and the departure of Giannis. I mean, I don't really know what teams would be willing to take them on together. I think it'd be very few because that's a lot of money you're bringing in. So either you're gonna have to inherit that money, or you're just gonna have to like ship off another big piece of yours to make the deal match up financially wise. But I mean, sure, if Giannis wants to, sure. I mean, it's whatever. I think it's gonna make us, heavier on the top end. I don't think it's going to give us, obviously going to kill us with depth. But there's that. Also, his teammate, Brook Lopez, I'm actually a fan of that. Brook Lopez has finally won him a championship, so he's going to bring in championship pedigree. He's a 7-footer that can shoot the three. I mean, he's literally what Quentin Post is right now, but just more experience. I mean, he's been an NBA All-Star. Like, I'm not against Brook Lopez coming to the Warriors. I've seen something like Sabonis. I don't really know how I feel about that. I'm not really a fan of that. I don't really think he wants to be in Golden State. I don't think he wants to be a Golden State Warrior. But his teammate Valanciunas, I would be in favor of that. I've been seeing stuff like Steven Adams. Oh yeah, Steven Adams he can give us some. He can give us an upgrade as far as offensive rebounding. I just don't think as an overall fit he's gonna fit well with us. A player that's not talked about much. I don't know if I mentioned him in my mock draft a couple of days ago. And if you're watching this, then you've probably seen that by now because that should already be out. Malcolm Brogdon from the Washington Wizards shouldn't be there. I would love for him to come be Steph's backup in Golden State. Honestly, I'm mad about, I don't know if I shared my thoughts on this, but when we traded Jimmy Butler, I was ecstatic. I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and he could co-sign that I was ecstatic when I saw the news that we got Jimmy Butler. But it was what we gave up in the deal somewhere. So I'm not gonna lie. At that point in time, I was through with Pods. How do I feel about Pods at this very moment? Very, I'd probably say neutral. He excites me sometimes with his play, and then sometimes it's just like trade him. I do know that he's one of the best rebounding guards in the NBA. And I mean, he can catch fire. He does give exceptional effort on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, he can improve. But I just don't know. Like, something about him is just like, you have some people that are like, even if they're role players, like, it's just something about them that you want them to stay. Like, it's just, you just be like in your mind, yeah, it's guaranteed that this dude is just not leaving. Like, we're not letting this dude go. You don't want this dude to go. I don't feel that way about Pods. I can't really say anything about Buddy either. Buddy is. I mean, Buddy was brought in to kind of be the Klay Thompson replacement, so to speak. You can't replace Klay Thompson. You can't replace a top 5 shooter of all time unless you get another top 5 shooter of all time. And I think 3 of those guys, because if you ask me, the top 5 shooters of all time would be Klay, Steph, Reggie, Ray, I guess Larry Bird. And out of that list, 3 of those guys are retired. So, I mean, how you gonna replace that? Yeah, that's just a couple of names out there. Look at this depth chart again. Yeah, I think we need a true backup point. Because according to this depth chart, it says Pause is the backup point, but also has him listed as the starting shooting guard. But yeah, Jimmy should not be playing power forward. Jimmy is a 2 or a 3. Somebody like Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson from Brooklyn. I would love for him to come play 4 for us. Because I mean, at best, Pod should be our 6th man. So, except for just like we get a Cam Johnson, right? That gives us a 4-man. Actually, that could push. In the event that we get a true 5-man, that would push Buddy and Pods to the bench, which I kind of like, because that can move Draymond up to his natural position at the 4. That would move Jimmy up to, really Jimmy could play the 2. You put Jimmy at the 2 and then Cam Johnson at the 3. So now you're looking at a lineup of Steph, Jimmy, Cam Johnson, Draymond, and Brook Lopez, Jonas Valanciunas, Giannis, whatever. But see, the thing is, though, like, I'm not really understanding. Maybe I have to dive in, do some deeper research, and figure out what it could have potentially been. But I'm not really understanding the quote-unquote downfall out of the rotation for Kevon Looney. I still have a ton of faith in Loon. I still think Loon can be very productive for us. And I mean, Trace actually showed some upside in his playoffs. I didn't realize he was that athletic. I mean, he definitely can improve in things like interior defense and rebounding, both offensively and defensively. But he has a lot of upside. I mean, I was very high on Trace when we got him. I thought he was a steal in that draft because Trace was. What did he win? I think it was the Julius Erving Award. Whatever award that they give in college to the best power forward, he won that award in college. And so, obviously, you get a guy like that. I think we got him in the either late first round or early second round. I thought it was a steal for us. But obviously, we haven't used him much. But I got a decent amount of faith in Trace. Still. But yeah, I think Loon. I don't mind Loon starting for us at all. Even somebody like Mo Wagner out of Orlando. Guy that can stretch the floor out. I mean, if you look back at it, right, the centers that we've had on the roster where we won championships. David Lee, you could say he was the center. Andrew Bogut, obviously Loon, Festus Ezeli. I mean, obviously I know times have changed from those days, the glory days, but think, you telling me Loon can't be our starting 5? Like, they have QP back him up. I'm big on QP. I think QP can be legit for us going forward. Or, I mean, if we want to, not really focus on the future right now and worry about right now, winning right now, very good trade piece. I think a lot of teams would be interested in Quentin Post. I don't know, man. This hurts. This sucks. I really thought this year was our best shot at getting us one because you gotta think about it. Like, with time, there's development, evolvement, and then you got more players coming in. Cooper Flag is gonna be in the league next year. Then Harper, B.J. Edgecombe, Ace Bailey. Then the list goes on, and then after him, more than likely going to be AJ DeBonsta, and then Cam Boozer. So I mean, like it's only going to be great young talent coming in year after year after year. Like that draft class that we saw with Zachary Ricochet and Stephon Castle and Alexander Sarr. Like, no offense, but it's gonna probably be the worst draft class we see for a long time. And they're not even bad. Like, I think they got some legit people. But I'm saying of what we're gonna see in the future, like that's gonna be looked at as a very bad or weaker or poor draft class for quite some time. But I don't know. I think I think we need a true backup point. We need a true center. Even though I still have faith in Loon, we need another big. That can stretch the floor out. Because Loon has pulled some threes, but like I don't think we're putting full trust in him to give us 3-point, field goals, obviously. I would love for Durant to come back. But I don't think KD wants to return to Golden State. And I just don't see that happening. Didn't happen at the trade deadline. I don't see it happening now. So how about we go through this? I'm gonna go through this and see like who's like guaranteed to be on the roster next year, who can just go. Curry guaranteed, obviously. Pods can go. Buddy, because of the way Buddy played in the playoffs, give or take 2 or 3 games, especially in that Minnesota series, I want to keep Buddy. Jimmy, obviously, yeah. Draymond, yes. Moses Moody. I could trade Moody. I'm gonna be real. They could trade Moody. Gary Payton, I want to keep. I didn't want to keep GP on the roster. Kuminga can go. So I mean, I think I wouldn't be mad if Pods, Moody, and Kuminga get traded this offseason. I would be perfectly fine with that. Is that really giving up our future? Technically, yeah, it is. But yeah, Looney can stay. Pat Spencer. Pat Spencer is a very odd individual. I mean, if you look at the guy, you couldn't even tell. Like, you wouldn't even expect him to be a basketball player, let alone an athlete. But he's interesting. I'd probably say trade him though, if we can get something back that's an upgrade, an enhancement. Sure. Trace, I would like to keep Trace. Guy Santos, somebody that I thought could be a legit piece for us, but hasn't really done much to my liking. That's probably a 50-50. Like if we keep him, I guess. If they trade him, if it's for something better, that to better help the team, cool. QP, Quentin Post, I would like to keep. Unless it's for like a huge upgrade, then I would understand. Taron Armstrong, the last guy. I haven't seen anything of him. I know we picked him up from the G League or whatever. I think he's pretty much stayed in the G League throughout the majority of the season. So I mean, maybe he could be that backup point guard. I don't know what he's capable of. I haven't seen him on the NBA floor, so I don't know. So maybe he might play in the Summer League. Might need to look out for that. See if he plays in the Summer League. Because if he plays in the Summer League, then maybe he can come in and be that backup point for us. I think Pods is a 2. I think Pods is a 2. He needs to be off the ball and put in position to score, like literally a shooting guard, shoot, shoot, shoot. Yeah, he doesn't need to be our backup point guard. I mean, we don't have that outside of him. Pat Spencer is not really a point guard in my eyes. He's what we would consider a tweener. Gary Payton, no. So we definitely need to get that true backup point for when Steph comes out of the game. I mean, we have ball handlers, yeah, sure. Paz can handle the ball. Jimmy can handle the ball. Draymond can obviously set stuff up like a magician. Orchestrate the offense, so to speak. But I mean, like, we need a true backup for Steph. I don't know. It's a lot going on. We have to get together and figure out. I love our coaching staff. From Steve to Terry Stotts to Jerry Stackhouse. Actually, I saw something. I think it was earlier today. Draymond Green on this podcast, which I tune into. Pretty frequently. The podcast that he has with Baron Davis, former Warrior legend, kinda. And he was saying how he's excited for a year two. He doesn't want to. They're not looking to rebuild. They're looking to retool. Reload, reboot. Excuse me. And I mean, I agree with that 100%. We have to maximize this window of Steph Curry. I mean, we have 2 years left, and I think Jimmy's contract is also 2 years. I'm not sure what Draymond's contract is looking at. So we got to maximize these last 2 years because we don't know what is going to happen after that. But I mean, players are only going to ascend. Shea's going to only get better. Chet, Ant, Halliburton, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, Risa Shea, Jalen Johnson. I mean, the list goes on. Like, these guys are only going to get better. And we're already in the better conference, the harder conference, the tougher conference, the more difficult conference. Like, we cannot waste no time on trying to get better. And I agree with that statement 1,000%. And I mean, he even believes that there are going to be moves made this summer. Because I mean, that's just what has to be done. But he also was saying how he's also excited for them to have a full season together. Now, granted, our big three is old. Draymond is 35, I believe. I think Jimmy is, 35, 36. And Steph is 37. We have no time to waste here. So I think it's just about kind of finding that balance of mixing old with new, or veteran with young. And we sort of had that, but obviously not gelling well enough because we didn't get it done. I mean, I think we could have beaten Minnesota, but obviously we didn't. I think we could have beaten OKC. They didn't even get a chance to do so. I mean, we actually, I think we played OKC either twice or 3 times in the regular season. I think we beat them 2-1. I want to say 2-1. Now, granted, obviously, regular season is different than the postseason. Like, you obviously revisit a different animal in the postseason. So, granted, they could have killed us. They could have swept us in the Western Conference Finals had we gotten there. But I think we would have got them probably in 6 or 7. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer to see what we do. I think we're picking. I don't even know if we have a first round pick. So I took a second to look at the what picks that we have in this year's draft. We only have one, which is a second round pick, which is pick 41. And honestly, there are some bigs that I am interested in the second round. Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton. I would like for us to pick him up. Then there's also Janai Broom. I think that's kind of like looking at Trace Jackson Davis. It would be like another situation like that because Janai Broom was the runner-up for Player of the Year this year. You mean to tell me you get the runner-up Player of the Year in the mid-second round? I think that's pretty great. Now, obviously, I had a bone to pick with Janai Broom during the season because obviously me being a Duke fan and rooting for Cooper Flag the entire year, I didn't want him jeopardizing Cooper Flag getting the Player of the Year. Those are the only two guys that I really see that I would like to pick up as far as centers go. So we end up with like a Janai Broom or a Ryan Kalkbrenner in the second round. I'm not opposed to that at all. I mean, or we could trade up. But I don't really think we have the pieces that we have to trade up. We would have to I think we would trade up a whole bunch. Like it would be a huge leap if we were to trade up. So I think we should probably stay away from that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is going to be a very interesting offseason for us. Oh, but to touch on that thing I was saying earlier about the trade, when we gave away Jimmy, I don't think I really got into why I was upset. I think we should have traded Pods instead of Dennis Schroeder. Now that's some of y'all may say that's crazy to say, but that would have given us a legit backup point guard. I really love what Dennis Schroeder did for us in his time here in Golden State. Steve Kerr started him alongside Steph for quite some time. Now obviously Jimmy wasn't there, so obviously he had to toy with the lineup a bit more when Steph wasn't there. But I'm sorry, not Steph, Jimmy. But he could have been that legit backup point guard for us. So it sucks that he went. I would have much rather they traded Pods to Miami. Or, well, no, he would have been traded to, I guess, Detroit. I think could have benefited them. They have a young core. And he would have been great for him, I think. And especially with his developmental process, I think would have definitely had benefited them as well in the long run for them. Because he could have been probably a two-man alongside Cade, maybe. Even though I think that's probably going to be Jaden Ivey, but you never know. Now I'm kind of looking at potential point guards to hit the free agent market this summer. Tyus Jones might be back on the market. Dog, I love Tyus Jones. But watching since he was at Duke. So I'm definitely a Tyus Jones guy. Dog, we get Tyus Jones to come back up Steph. Oh my goodness. Also, his brother, Trey Jones, would be on the market this summer. I'm seeing guys like Dennis Schroeder might also be back on the market, so hopefully maybe it's where we pick him back up. Malcolm Brogdon, that guy I was telling you about earlier. That would be great for us. Cam Payne from New York, I'm not opposed to that. I think he's more of a score first point. I'm talking about a guy that can kind of come out and kind of do both. Pick and choose when to score and facilitate for his guys. And I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot of, in terms of trades and signings for us this offseason. Gonna be a lot of throwing noodles at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I mean, we know our identity. We know the kind of guys that we want to bring in. So I think we could really get better this offseason. But I mean, got to wait things out and see. It's gonna be a long time until October. So, but I mean, that is it for me. That's all I have. I appreciate y'all tuning in like always. If you, by the time this drops, the mock draft episode should already be out. That is just the draft lottery. I didn't do the entire draft because it just was a lot of complications with that. So it's just the lottery only. I still think y'all will enjoy. I didn't get a chance to mention that in the actual video. So if you're wondering why it's some complications and some misconception, then that is obviously why. But I appreciate y'all like always. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Always remember, don't underestimate, appreciate, and without further ado, I'm out.